This mini lesson is going to be on solving inequalities. So how do we solve an inequality? Well, the answer is very similarly to the way that we solve an equation. We might have an inequality in the center, but we still treat it almost just like an equal sign. So what would we do if it said 16x equals 32? We would divide each side by 16 to get x all alone. That would make these 16s cancel, and then x would be greater than 2. End of story. Whoops. Okay, now what if we had a negative in front of the x? Do you remember that doing anything special? Once again, we divide each side by a negative 6 to get the x all by itself. And then what happens when we divide by a negative? The inequality flips around. So instead of x being greater than or equal to, now the inequality flips around, so now x is less than or equal to, and 18 divided by negative 6 is negative 3. Always remember that when you divide by a negative number, the inequality will flip around. Now let's combine some distribution along with the inequalities. Remember what we talked about when we did distribution and solving equations? You must give the outside number to both terms inside parentheses, not just the first. That's a huge mistake that people make a lot. So what does this give us? 4x minus 28 is less than or equal to 7x plus 7. Okay, several ways you could go from here, as you know from your algebra skills. I'm going to subtract the 7x, so that'll give me negative 3x minus 28 is less than or equal to 7. And yes, if you're thinking it, you could have subtracted the 4x instead. Now I need all my x's on one side. I've chosen the left, all my constants on the other side. So to get rid of minus 28, I'm going to add 28. And you must keep a balanced teeter-totter, so do the same thing to each side. Negative 3x is less than or equal to 35. And then divide each side by negative 3. So x is less than or equal to negative 35 thirds. Is that right? Hopefully you caught me. When you divide by a negative, the sign has to flip around. So instead of less than or equal to, it's greater than or equal to.